Discipline is the silent force that separates those who dream from those who achieve. It is not loud or boastful, yet it is powerful beyond measure. Every triumph, every victory, every milestone ever reached in human history was built on a foundation of discipline. Without it, talent becomes wasted potential, ambition turns into fleeting desire, and plans dissolve into mere thoughts. Discipline is the bridge between intention and result. It is the inner structure that supports every action, every decision, and every step toward success. To understand its value is to understand the core of transformation itself. Too often, people mistake discipline for restriction, for a harsh and joyless life where every desire is denied. But this is a misunderstanding. True discipline is not a cage, it is a compass. It guides, directs, and aligns energy toward meaningful goals. It is the invisible hand that turns fragmented effort into unstoppable momentum. Imagine a life where every thought, every action, and every choice is purposeful. A life where hesitation is replaced by clarity, where distraction is replaced by focus, where weakness is replaced by willpower. This life is not reserved for a few. It is available to anyone who decides to master themselves. The power of discipline is revealed in the small choices, repeated consistently. It is choosing to rise early when the mind begs for rest, choosing to act when motivation fades, choosing to stay true to your plan when the world tempts you to wander. These choices, though seemingly insignificant in the moment, compound over time into a force so strong that it reshapes your destiny. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about persistence, about refusing to surrender to the fleeting comfort of ease. Every act of self-control, no matter how small, builds strength. Every moment of focus, every refusal to indulge weakness lays another brick in the foundation of a life lived with purpose. Discipline also demands awareness. It asks you to confront yourself honestly, to see where your habits are sabotaging your progress, and to take deliberate action to correct them. It is a mirror that reflects truth without judgment, a lens through which you examine your intentions and your outcomes. Without discipline, even the brightest ideas remain shadows, beautiful yet unrealized. With it, even the simplest plan becomes unstoppable. It transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement, turning potential energy into kinetic progress. The journey toward self-mastery is not easy, and discipline is not always comfortable. It asks you to endure moments of resistance, to act when your body and mind scream for ease, and to persist when results are invisible. Yet it is in these moments, these small crucibles of choice, that character is forged. Each challenge, each refusal to give in to distraction, each decision to follow through despite doubt strengthens the inner framework that supports all success. Discipline is not an external force imposed upon you. It is cultivated from within, nurtured through intention and sustained through consistent action. As you begin to embrace discipline, you will notice a shift in your perception of life. Tasks that once felt burdensome will become opportunities. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable will become challenges you are prepared to face. Motivation will no longer dictate your actions. Instead, purpose and consistency will drive you forward. The life you desire, the person you aspire to become, is built not on fleeting inspiration, but on the steady, unwavering commitment to disciplined action. It is the invisible engine behind every story of achievement, the quiet force that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary individuals. Discipline is not something you wait for. It is something you claim. It begins with a decision, a single act of commitment to mastery over self. It grows through repetition, through the choices you make when no one is watching, and through the relentless refusal to let weakness dictate your destiny. To embrace discipline is to embrace freedom, freedom from chaos, freedom from wasted potential, and freedom to become the architect of your own life. Every great achievement begins here in the quiet, unyielding power of self-control. This is where transformation begins. This is where you take the first step toward becoming unstoppable. Discipline begins with understanding. Without understanding, effort becomes scattered and intentions remain hollow. True discipline is not about forcing yourself into rigid routines or suppressing every desire. It is about mastering your own mind and aligning it with your highest purpose. When you recognize the connection between your thoughts, your actions, and your outcomes, discipline transforms from a burden into a tool. It becomes the framework through which every decision, every choice, and every movement is guided toward meaningful results. Understanding this is the first step in transforming mere willpower into unstoppable momentum. Every action we take is preceded by thought. The mind is the origin of all progress, and uncontrolled thoughts lead to uncontrolled actions. Discipline teaches the mind to focus, to channel its energy toward what truly matters. It is the deliberate act of choosing what to pursue and, just as importantly, what to ignore. The distractions, the temptations, the impulses that pull you away from your goals will never vanish. What changes is your response. A disciplined mind does not react automatically. It observes, evaluates, and then acts with purpose. In this way, discipline is not about restriction. It is about freedom. Freedom to act in alignment with your deepest values rather than being enslaved by every fleeting desire. Understanding discipline also means understanding your own weaknesses. Every person has areas where self-control falters, where motivation wanes, where habits work against progress. Awareness of these vulnerabilities is not a sign of weakness. It is the first step toward strength. The disciplined individual studies their patterns, identifies the moments when they are most likely to give in to distraction or indulgence, and designs systems to counteract these tendencies. By observing yourself honestly, without excuses or judgment, you gain the clarity needed to build habits that serve rather than sabotage. Discipline thrives in this clarity. It grows where there is honesty about what works, what doesn't, and what must change. Another essential aspect of understanding discipline is recognizing its cumulative effect. Small, consistent actions taken repeatedly over time create results that are impossible to achieve through sporadic effort. Discipline is not measured in bursts of intensity, but in steady, persistent adherence to your goals. Each day, each decision, each moment of self-control adds up. The power of discipline is compounding. What seems insignificant in isolation becomes extraordinary in the long term. By grasping this, the mind learns patience and consistency, understanding that the journey toward mastery is built one deliberate step at a time. Finally, understanding discipline means seeing it as a conscious partnership with your own potential. Every choice, every action guided by self-control strengthens the connection between what you envision and what you achieve. It transforms intention into reality, desire into accomplishment, and dreams into tangible results. When you truly comprehend the nature of discipline, it ceases to feel like an obligation. It becomes the force that propels you forward, the engine that drives your transformation, and the foundation upon which every success is built. Mastery over self is mastery over life, and it begins with understanding what discipline truly is and why it is the most powerful tool you possess. Clarity of purpose is the foundation upon which all discipline is built. Without a clear destination, the mind drifts, energy scatters, and actions lose meaning. A purpose that is vague or undefined becomes a cloud of intentions, beautiful in imagination but empty in reality. When your goals are precise, vivid, and deeply felt, every choice, every effort, and every act of self-control becomes aligned with a higher aim. This alignment transforms discipline from a struggle into a natural extension of your desires, making focus effortless and determination unwavering. When you are clear about what you want, the distractions of life lose their power. The endless noise, the temptations, the trivial pursuits that steal time and energy no longer hold sway over you. Clarity of purpose acts as a filter through which every decision is measured. If an action serves your goal, it is embraced. If it does not, it is discarded. The mind becomes sharp, decisive, and relentless. It no longer wanders aimlessly, seeking satisfaction in fleeting pleasures. Instead, it moves with intention, guided by a compass that points unerringly toward the life you are determined to create. A defined purpose also ignites inner motivation. Discipline is not merely about resisting temptation or forcing yourself to act. It is about creating a magnetic pull that draws you toward action naturally. When your purpose is clear, the effort required to maintain self-control diminishes. Challenges that once seemed daunting become opportunities for growth. Setbacks no longer discourage because they are seen in the context of a larger journey. Each step, no matter how small, contributes to a vision that is so vivid and compelling that giving in to weakness feels unnatural. This is the power of purpose. It converts discipline from a burdensome task into a source of strength and clarity. Writing down your goals, reviewing them daily, and imagining yourself achieving them strengthens this clarity. The mind responds to repeated focus and visualization, internalizing your purpose until it becomes inseparable from your identity. You begin to act not because you are forcing yourself, but because every fiber of your being is aligned with what you are becoming. Clarity of purpose fuels resilience, allowing you to endure discomfort, overcome doubt, and maintain consistency when others falter. It creates a mental framework in which self-control thrives, making discipline a natural outcome rather than a constant battle. Ultimately, clarity of purpose is more than knowing what you want. It is knowing who you intend to become. Every action you take in alignment with this purpose strengthens your character, sharpens your focus, and deepens your resolve. Discipline, when guided by a vivid and compelling purpose, transforms from a temporary effort into a lifelong habit. It becomes the force that propels you forward, the anchor that steadies you through uncertainty, and the unseen power that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. The moment your purpose becomes clear, discipline stops feeling like a struggle and begins to feel like the path you were always meant to walk. Daily habits are the building blocks of discipline. They are the repeated actions that, over time, shape character, forge willpower, and create unstoppable momentum. Talent alone, without consistent practice, achieves little. Motivation alone without action fades like a passing spark. What determines real progress is not occasional brilliance, but the persistent, disciplined execution of small, purposeful tasks every single day. Habits transform intention into reality, turning fleeting desire into permanent achievement. They are the invisible framework that supports extraordinary results. The power of daily habits lies in their consistency. Each day, every choice you make either strengthens or weakens your discipline. When actions are repeated over time, they become automatic, almost effortless, requiring less conscious energy. The mind begins to operate in alignment with your goals without constant struggle. Morning routines, focused work periods, deliberate planning, and intentional self-reflection all compound, producing results far beyond what any single act could accomplish. Discipline grows quietly, steadily, and persistently through these repeated actions, until it becomes an unshakable force within you. Habits also create momentum. Just as a small snowball rolling down a hill grows larger and unstoppable, consistent habits build energy that propels you forward. Each act of discipline reinforces the next, creating a cycle of progress that accelerates with time. When you commit to structured routines and disciplined behavior, resistance begins to weaken. Tasks that once felt difficult become manageable. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities to grow stronger. Momentum generated by disciplined habits becomes a self-sustaining force, carrying you closer to your goals with every day that passes. The key to developing effective daily habits is intentionality. Habits cannot be left to chance or convenience. They must be chosen deliberately, designed to serve your highest priorities, and repeated consistently. This requires awareness, honesty, and courage. It demands that you identify the actions that produce the greatest results and commit to them unwaveringly, regardless of discomfort, boredom, or distraction. The process is not glamorous or easy, but it is transformative. Small, disciplined actions performed consistently will always outweigh sporadic bursts of effort or moments of inspiration. Finally, daily habits teach self-mastery. Each completed routine, each resisted temptation, each intentional choice reinforces the belief that you are in control of your life. Discipline is not built in grand gestures or dramatic decisions. It is built in the quiet, consistent actions that define each day. Over time, these habits shape not only what you achieve, but who you become. They make discipline automatic, unstoppable, and deeply ingrained. When daily habits are aligned with purpose and intention, they transform ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers, proving that true power lies in the small, consistent steps taken without hesitation, day after day. Control over emotions is a cornerstone of discipline. Without it, even the strongest intentions crumble under the weight of anger, fear, frustration, or desire. Emotions, when left unchecked, dictate actions and derail progress. They have the power to sabotage goals, weaken resolve, and scatter focus. True discipline does not mean eliminating emotion. It means mastering it. It is the ability to observe feelings, understand their origin, and respond with purpose rather than react impulsively. The disciplined mind is not a slave to emotion. It is the ruler, channeling energy with precision toward meaningful outcomes. Emotional mastery begins with awareness. Every time anger flares, doubt creeps in, or impatience rises, it presents an opportunity for conscious choice. Recognizing the moment before reaction is the first step toward control. It is the space between impulse and action where discipline exerts its power. In that pause lies freedom, the freedom to choose action aligned with long-term goals rather than temporary feelings. Discipline transforms this space into a battlefield where focus and purpose conquer distraction and impulse, reinforcing the mind's strength and resilience. Another aspect of emotional control is understanding the nature of temporary discomfort. Fear, frustration, and anxiety are inevitable, but they are not commands, they are signals. Discipline teaches you to interpret these signals, to act in spite of them, and to harness the energy they produce. Emotions can either be a chain that binds you or a fuel that propels you. By training your mind to act deliberately, you convert emotional energy into constructive effort rather than allowing it to disrupt progress. Each moment of mastery strengthens self-control and reinforces the belief that nothing external can dictate your inner state. Emotional discipline also demands consistency. The mind is like a muscle. Every act of control strengthens it. Every refusal to act impulsively, every choice to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting, builds the neural pathways that make self-mastery automatic over time. This consistency turns discipline into habit, transforming emotional reactions into deliberate, purposeful behavior. It is not a temporary skill, but a permanent force, shaping decisions, shaping actions, and shaping life. Finally, mastering emotions cultivates inner peace and confidence. A mind that is disciplined over its feelings is unshakable, unwavering, and resilient. It does not collapse under pressure, panic, or provocation. Instead, it navigates challenges with clarity, precision, and calm. Emotional control enhances every aspect of discipline because it ensures that every decision, every action, and every effort aligns with purpose. In this mastery lies true freedom, the freedom to live intentionally, to act decisively, and to achieve relentlessly. Discipline is strengthened not through external rules, but through internal command, and emotional control is the key that unlocks this power. Persistence against resistance is the defining factor between those who achieve and those who surrender. Every goal worth pursuing is met with obstacles, delays, and challenges. Resistance comes in many forms: fatigue, doubt, fear, distraction, and the temptation to quit. It is relentless, testing every ounce of willpower and every fragment of commitment. Yet it is precisely in the face of this resistance that discipline is forged. The individual who persists, who continues to act despite discomfort and uncertainty, transforms resistance into fuel, converting struggle into momentum. Understanding the nature of resistance is the first step in overcoming it. Resistance is not a sign that you should stop. It is evidence that you are progressing, that you are challenging yourself, and that growth is occurring. Every moment of discomfort, every difficulty encountered, is an opportunity to strengthen resolve and solidify discipline. Persistence is not the absence of struggle. It is the decision to move forward in spite of it. The mind that embraces this perspective turns challenges into allies and obstacles into stepping stones toward greater achievement. Persistence also demands deliberate focus. The human mind is easily distracted by minor inconveniences, fleeting fears, and temporary setbacks. Discipline ensures that attention remains fixed on the larger goal, that effort continues even when results are delayed or unseen. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory over inertia. Each refusal to quit, each act of consistent effort builds a momentum that grows stronger with time. Resistance may be powerful, but persistent action is far more powerful, creating a force that nothing can stop. Another essential component of persistence is belief in the process. Outcomes are rarely immediate, and results may take longer than anticipated. Yet disciplined persistence trusts that consistent effort, aligned with purpose, will yield the desired results. This trust creates resilience, enabling action to continue even when the mind is weary, the body is tired, or circumstances appear unfavorable. The persistent individual knows that endurance is the hidden lever behind every success and that surrender is the only true failure. Finally, persistence against resistance strengthens character and self-mastery. Every challenge overcome, every obstacle faced, reinforces the belief that you are capable, resilient, and unstoppable. Discipline is strengthened not in comfort, but in struggle, and persistence ensures that every struggle serves a purpose. Through deliberate, unwavering effort in the face of resistance, the mind and spirit are transformed. Resistance becomes less intimidating, setbacks become temporary, and the path to achievement becomes clear. True discipline is measured not by ease, but by the relentless commitment to persist, to act, and to succeed, regardless of the resistance encountered along the way. Avoiding negative influences is a critical pillar of discipline. The environment you immerse yourself in, the people you engage with, and the ideas you consume all shape your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately your outcomes. Negative influences, whether in the form of toxic relationships, destructive habits, or limiting beliefs, can quietly erode self-control, weaken resolve, and scatter focus. Discipline requires vigilance, a conscious effort to filter out anything that does not serve your growth. It is not about isolating yourself, but about protecting your mind from forces that undermine your potential. The influence of negativity often works subtly. A fleeting thought, a careless comment, or a brief exposure to doubt can seed hesitation and distraction. Over time, these minor intrusions accumulate, shaping behavior, habits, and mindset. Discipline acts as a shield, allowing you to recognize and neutralize these influences before they take root. By carefully selecting what enters your mind and what occupies your time, you create a mental and emotional environment that fosters focus, resilience, and consistent action. Clarity and strength grow where positivity is cultivated and negativity is excluded. Another dimension of avoiding negative influences is choosing associations wisely. People you spend time with affect your habits, your attitudes, and your discipline. Those who are complacent, critical, or indulgent can pull even the strongest person off course. Conversely, associating with individuals who exemplify focus, resilience, and self-mastery reinforces your own discipline. The energy you allow into your life has a profound effect on your ability to maintain control over your thoughts and actions. Discipline thrives in a supportive, growth-oriented environment and falters in one filled with doubt, distraction, and defeat. Negative influences also extend to information, media, and constant external noise. The mind is constantly absorbing ideas, images, and messages, many of which promote instant gratification, fear, or limiting beliefs. Discipline requires conscious selection of mental input, choosing sources that inspire, educate, and motivate rather than weaken or distract. Just as you would protect your body from harmful substances, you must protect your mind from harmful influences. The consistent practice of mental hygiene strengthens self-control, allowing focus, clarity, and determination to flourish. Ultimately, avoiding negative influences is about protecting your inner world so discipline can grow unchallenged. It is an act of responsibility and foresight, ensuring that nothing external can destabilize your commitment to purpose and action. By removing or minimizing exposure to toxic elements, you free mental and emotional energy for growth, persistence, and achievement. Discipline is reinforced when your environment supports your intentions rather than sabotaging them, making it easier to stay aligned with goals, maintain focus, and act consistently. The choices you make and what you accept and reject shape not only your discipline but your destiny, proving that control over your environment is inseparable from control over yourself. Delayed gratification is one of the most powerful tools for building discipline. The ability to resist immediate pleasure in favor of long-term rewards separates those who achieve extraordinary results from those who settle for mediocrity. Instant satisfaction may feel comforting in the moment, but it weakens resolve, scatters focus, and undermines the pursuit of meaningful goals. Discipline is strengthened when the mind is trained to prioritize enduring value over fleeting indulgence, to embrace patience as a pathway to mastery, and to understand that every delayed reward compounds into lasting achievement. The principle of delayed gratification requires mental training. It is not a simple act of saying no. It is a deliberate choice to align actions with higher purpose. Every time you resist temptation, whether it is procrastination, indulgence, or distraction, you reinforce self-control. Each moment of restraint strengthens the neural pathways that govern habit, turning discipline into an automatic response rather than a constant struggle. The mind learns that satisfaction does not need to be immediate, that real rewards are earned through effort, and that enduring challenges is part of the journey toward excellence. Delayed gratification also transforms perception. The more you practice resisting short-term pleasures, the more value you place on long-term outcomes. Goals become more vivid, effort feels purposeful, and discipline becomes inherently rewarding. The mind begins to measure success not by temporary comfort, but by progress, growth, and achievement. When you delay gratification, every sacrifice is reframed as an investment in your future. Every choice to endure discomfort reinforces the belief that you are capable, committed, and in control of your destiny. Another key aspect of delayed gratification is understanding the compounding effect of disciplined choices. Small acts of self-restraint, repeated consistently over time, create results far beyond what any immediate satisfaction could provide. Saving instead of spending, practicing instead of slacking, learning instead of escaping, these choices accumulate like interest, building momentum that becomes unstoppable. Discipline thrives when the mind appreciates that long-term success requires temporary sacrifice, and that patience is not a limitation, but a powerful accelerator. Ultimately, delayed gratification is not about deprivation, it is about empowerment. It is the conscious decision to act in alignment with purpose rather than impulse. It trains the mind to resist weakness, prioritize growth, and embrace the process of achievement. Every act of delayed gratification strengthens discipline, sharpens focus, and builds resilience. It transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results by teaching the mind that true satisfaction is earned, not fleeting. Through this practice, you learn that the power to choose, to endure, and to persist is the ultimate form of freedom, and that the rewards of patience far exceed the fleeting pleasures of the moment. Self-reflection and accountability are the final pillars that strengthen discipline. Without them, even the most consistent effort can become aimless, and even the clearest goals can lose their impact. Discipline is not merely about action, it is about conscious, deliberate action guided by awareness. Self-reflection allows you to examine your choices, evaluate your progress, and identify the patterns that either support or sabotage your growth. It is a mirror that shows not only what you have achieved, but also what remains within your control to improve. Through self-reflection, you confront the truth of your own behavior. You acknowledge where you fell short, where distractions pulled you away, and where your impulses overpowered your intentions. This is not a practice of judgment or shame. It is a practice of clarity and understanding. The disciplined mind embraces honesty because it knows that only by recognizing weakness can it be corrected. Each insight gained through reflection strengthens the capacity to act with precision, turning lessons into strategies and mistakes into stepping stones. Accountability complements self-reflection by creating a framework for consistent responsibility. To be disciplined is to hold yourself answerable to your own standards, to your goals, and to your purpose. Accountability does not require the observation of others. It begins internally with a commitment to measure your actions against your intentions. It demands honesty, integrity, and courage to acknowledge when progress falters. By doing so, the mind develops resilience and a refusal to settle for mediocrity. Each time you take responsibility for your actions, you reinforce the structure of discipline and solidify your control over your own destiny. Self-reflection and accountability also amplify the power of momentum. When daily actions are reviewed and assessed, patterns of success and failure become clear, enabling course corrections before small errors accumulate into significant setbacks. The disciplined individual uses reflection not as a critique, but as a guide refining methods, improving focus, and enhancing efficiency. Accountability ensures that this reflection translates into meaningful action, transforming awareness into consistent behavior. The combination of insight and responsibility creates a self-reinforcing cycle that strengthens every aspect of self-discipline. Ultimately, the practice of self-reflection and accountability transforms discipline into wisdom. It elevates effort beyond mere routine, aligning every action with purpose and intention. By observing yourself, learning from each choice, and holding yourself responsible, you cultivate a mind that is not only disciplined but intelligent in its application of effort. Discipline becomes sustainable, resilient, and deeply ingrained, no longer dependent on motivation or fleeting willpower. Through reflection and accountability, you gain mastery over yourself, ensuring that every decision, every action, and every moment of effort contributes to the life you are determined to create. The subconscious mind is a silent force that amplifies discipline beyond conscious effort. While conscious decisions guide immediate action, it is the subconscious that determines long-term patterns, habits, and responses. Every repeated thought, every deliberate action, and every consistent choice is recorded and stored within this powerful part of the mind. Over time, these imprints shape behavior automatically, turning discipline from a struggle of will into a natural, effortless response. Understanding and harnessing the subconscious is key to transforming temporary effort into permanent self-mastery. The subconscious thrives on repetition and focus. Thoughts and actions that are deliberately repeated embed themselves into its structure, forming the habits that govern daily life. This is why small, consistent efforts matter more than occasional bursts of determination. By consciously directing attention to goals, affirming intentions, and visualizing success, the mind internalizes discipline at a deeper level. What once required struggle and conscious effort becomes second nature. Over time, the subconscious becomes a partner in your pursuit, maintaining focus, motivation, and resolve even when conscious energy wanes. Another essential aspect of the subconscious is its responsiveness to belief and expectation. The mind tends to manifest what it perceives as reality. When you feed it disciplined thoughts, structured plans, and a clear vision of success, it aligns your actions with these beliefs. Conversely, inconsistent or negative patterns reinforce weakness and distraction. Discipline, therefore, is not only about action, it is about training the subconscious to anticipate success, to resist temptation, and to support purposeful effort without constant oversight. The power of self-mastery is multiplied when conscious and subconscious minds work together. Visualization and affirmation are tools to program the subconscious. By vividly imagining the outcomes you desire and consistently reinforcing them with positive declarations, you instruct your mind to operate as though success is already inevitable. Each act of repetition strengthens the pathways that lead to disciplined behavior, making focus automatic and resistance weaker. The subconscious begins to act as an internal guide, nudging decisions, prioritizing actions, and sustaining effort in alignment with long-term goals. Through this mechanism, discipline is no longer dependent solely on external structure or conscious will. It becomes ingrained in your very thinking. Ultimately, the subconscious mind transforms discipline into an enduring force. It bridges the gap between intention and action, between desire and achievement, by embedding focus, consistency, and resilience into your core. By understanding and shaping this inner power, you ensure that discipline persists even when motivation fades, obstacles arise, or fatigue sets in. What begins as conscious effort becomes instinctive mastery, making every decision, every choice, and every habit serve your purpose. The mind, once trained, becomes an unstoppable engine of achievement, proving that true discipline is not only what you do consciously, but what you cultivate deeply within. Building mental resilience is a crucial element of discipline. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and unexpected obstacles that test determination at every turn. Without mental toughness, even the most carefully crafted plans can crumble under pressure. Resilience is not simply the ability to endure. It is the capacity to rise stronger after every difficulty, to face discomfort with courage, and to persist when others falter. It transforms discipline from a fragile commitment into an unshakable force, allowing the mind to remain focused, composed, and relentless in pursuit of goals. Mental resilience begins with embracing discomfort. The disciplined individual understands that growth rarely occurs in comfort zones. Every challenge, every moment of resistance is an opportunity to strengthen willpower and deepen commitment. Instead of avoiding difficulty, resilience teaches the mind to lean into it, to extract lessons from struggle, and to use adversity as fuel for progress. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming become tools for development, forging inner strength and reinforcing the belief that nothing external can dictate your level of discipline. Another key aspect of resilience is adaptability. Life rarely unfolds according to plan, and obstacles often appear in unexpected forms. A resilient mind does not break under pressure or allow temporary setbacks to derail progress. Instead, it assesses circumstances, identifies solutions, and adjusts strategies without compromising commitment to the goal. This adaptability ensures that discipline is maintained not through rigidity, but through intelligent perseverance. Mental resilience allows you to stay steady when circumstances fluctuate, keeping effort and focus unwavering even in the face of uncertainty. Resilience also reinforces consistency, a core principle of discipline. Every act of persistence in challenging conditions strengthens mental fortitude. Each time the mind chooses action over surrender, it builds confidence, self-trust, and control. Resilience transforms fear, doubt, and frustration into motivation, ensuring that discipline is sustained not by fleeting willpower, but by a deeply rooted belief in the ability to overcome. Over time, this cultivated toughness becomes automatic, allowing the mind to remain disciplined even when obstacles are at their greatest intensity. Ultimately, building mental resilience elevates discipline to a permanent state of inner strength. It ensures that every challenge becomes an opportunity, every difficulty a stepping stone, and every setback a lesson in persistence. The resilient mind does not yield to pressure or succumb to distraction. It moves forward with clarity, focus, and unwavering determination. By cultivating resilience, discipline ceases to be a fragile effort and becomes a powerful, enduring force, capable of sustaining long-term achievement, shaping character, and transforming ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. The compound effect of discipline is the hidden engine behind extraordinary achievement. Small, consistent actions repeated over time create results far greater than any single moment of brilliance. Discipline is not measured by occasional bursts of effort, but by steady, persistent commitment that accumulates and multiplies. Each choice to act in alignment with purpose, no matter how minor it may seem at the moment, adds to a growing momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. Success is rarely immediate. It is the quiet, invisible result of repeated, disciplined effort. Understanding the compound effect requires a shift in perspective. Progress is not always dramatic or instantaneous, and results may not appear immediately. Yet the disciplined individual recognizes that every effort contributes to long-term success. Each habit reinforced, Each distraction resisted, and each challenge overcome compounds into greater focus, strength, and capability. What feels insignificant today can become the foundation for monumental achievement tomorrow. Discipline, therefore, is not about immediate reward. It is about planting seeds whose growth is slow, steady, and ultimately transformative. Consistency is the key to harnessing the compound effect. Daily actions aligned with goals reinforce mental pathways, strengthen habits, and build resilience. Over time, these repeated behaviors create an automatic rhythm of self-mastery, reducing reliance on fleeting motivation or willpower. Momentum builds quietly, almost imperceptibly, but its power grows exponentially. Small victories accumulate, compounding into significant progress. Discipline, when practiced consistently, transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, proving that success is the result of persistent, calculated effort rather than luck or sporadic inspiration. The compound effect also magnifies the impact of discipline on character. Every deliberate choice to stay focused, every refusal to succumb to weakness, and every act of intentional action contributes to the development of integrity, strength, and self-confidence. Over time, this internal growth becomes as important as external results. Discipline compounds not only in achievement, but in personal transformation, creating individuals who are prepared to face increasingly greater challenges with confidence and clarity. The habits formed through repeated effort shape not just outcomes, but the very person you become. Ultimately, the compound effect of discipline teaches that nothing in life of real value is achieved instantly. Every small, consistent action contributes to the trajectory of success. Each moment of focus, each instance of self-control, and each disciplined choice builds a legacy of achievement that grows quietly but relentlessly. When embraced fully, this principle ensures that discipline is no longer a temporary effort, but a permanent, self-sustaining force. The accumulation of consistent, intentional actions transforms ordinary potential into extraordinary results, proving that true mastery is not found in dramatic gestures, but in the quiet power of persistent, unwavering discipline. Transforming your life through discipline begins with a single deliberate decision. Every moment you commit to self-mastery, every choice to act in alignment with your goals sets the stage for extraordinary change. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you have the potential to become. It turns vague dreams into tangible realities, fleeting desire into persistent action, and scattered energy into focused momentum. To embrace discipline is to embrace control over your destiny, to claim the power that has always existed within you. The techniques explored: clarity of purpose, daily habits, emotional control, persistence against resistance, avoiding negative influences, delayed gratification, and self-reflection are not separate paths but interconnected elements that reinforce one another. Each strengthens the other, creating a foundation upon which lasting success is built. Discipline is not a skill practiced in isolation. It is a lifestyle, a continuous commitment to excellence in thought, action, and character. When these principles are applied consistently, they transform ordinary effort into unstoppable progress. Transformation through discipline also requires patience and trust in the process. Results may not appear immediately, and setbacks will challenge your resolve. Yet every effort compounds over time, building momentum, character, and confidence. The disciplined individual does not chase short-term gratification or give in to temporary discomfort. Instead, they focus on long-term goals, trusting that consistent effort, guided by purpose and reinforced by self-mastery, will yield extraordinary results. True transformation is forged not in moments of comfort, but in the deliberate, persistent acts that define every day. Discipline reshapes not only your actions, but your identity. When you commit to mastery over self, you begin to see yourself differently. You no longer rely solely on motivation or inspiration, which are fleeting. Instead, your behavior aligns automatically with your values and goals. Challenges become opportunities to strengthen resolve. Failures become lessons that sharpen your focus. Every deliberate choice, Every act of consistency molds the person you are becoming, creating a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. Ultimately, transforming your life through discipline is about claiming your power. It is about refusing to be swayed by impulses, distractions, or the comfort of mediocrity. It is about committing fully to the path of self-mastery, understanding that every action matters, every choice counts, and every moment is an opportunity to move closer to the life you desire. Discipline is the invisible force that drives extraordinary achievement, shapes character, and creates freedom. When fully embraced, it ensures that nothing, neither fear, neither failure, nor circumstance, can prevent you from becoming the person you were always meant to be. This is the power, the promise, and the transformation that discipline delivers.